Hey, Tachi Me TTV here, back again on YouTube with another video game review. Today we are going to be talking about the Callisto Protocol. Like in all my reviews, we are going to talk about story, gameplay, and graphics, not in that order. So let's jump right into it, shall we? So starting with the story. Alright, so let's begin with the story. Listen, truth is, it's not the best story. It's not the be end all of all stories. Comparing it to trying to rank it with other like similar games would be Dead Space. I would say it's Dead Space 2 level of story. It's a good story. Amazing story. So I'm gonna try to give you a short summary of the story. You play as a transporter named Jacob. His ship gets boarded by pirates, trying to stop him from transporting his goods. Trying to stop the pirates, he crashes his ship on the prison moon that he was trying to deliver his goods to. The security shows up. The warden just for some reason told arrest everyone, including Jacob. So Jacob gets arrested. And you wake up after getting processed I think it's a few weeks later in prison, and pretty much crap has hit the fan, and there's dead bodies everywhere, and you're trying to get out of prison. That's pretty much a summary of the story right there. If you want to know, I'm not going to go into like great details or end game stuff because I'm trying to keep this spoiler free. So that's my thoughts on the story. If I have to give it a rank, I probably give it a 6 out of 10. So I give it a D. Alright, so now we're going to talk about character design, monster design, map design, and all that good stuff. Starting with the main character, Jacob. His character design is very safe, is the way I can put it. He's not bad. He's actually a good looking guy. I just felt like they didn't really take any like risk with him. But I guess that makes sense. I mean, they don't want to do anything crazy. I guess what they were supposed to take risk is with the monster design and all that. Speaking about monster design, let's jump into that now. So, monster design is probably where I'm going to have a lot to say. It just didn't seem that scary. Like comparing it to Dead Space 2 Necromorphs, because I'm going to be comparing them a lot, by the way. Dead Space 2 Necromorphs were terrifying. I found those mothers scary. As for these guys, they just look like they had the plague. This is the best way I can describe them. That's all it is. They had a bunch of boils on them. They didn't really frighten me so much. I think they did get a few good jump scares out of me every now and then, but I felt like the monster designs were left wanting. They could have been more terrifying. They could have been more mutated. They just all seemed kind of meh. You did run into different monsters. There was one that spit. There was blind ones. There was a big guy. Nothing too crazy, but yeah, nothing that really went nuts for me. There was different types of basic monsters that really could have been more different. You had the normal one. You had like thick boys, and you had some in cop uniforms, and then you had big guys. There was a big guy, like huge muscle dude that you fight around mid game. You had one that spit stuff at you. It's like that, and that was it. And there was blind ones too, and that was it. Those were the three monsters, which is like wow. At the end of the game, I was like, is that really it? Just the normal guys, thick boys, ones that spit, blind guys, and a big guy with two heads. Just those five types of monsters. And like comparing it to Dead Space again, you had the babies, you had the ones with no legs, you had the fast guys, you had the thick boys, you had the boss, the regenerator, you had the really thick boys, the one if you shot in half, the little crawly things came out. But I also have to. This is just the first game. Maybe they'll come up with a sequel with more monster designs. So hopefully in the DLC or in the sequel, they have more different designs, more designs. As for environment, this is probably going to be the shortest segment because I'm not an environmental artist. I don't know jack about that. But just looking around, whenever I looked around, it was very, very pretty. It was very, very nice. I didn't run into any, glitches or like clipping or anything like that I remember. So I give the environment really good. It was amazing. Amazing. So, judging the, once again, I'm going to go ahead and rate the graphics of the game. And truth is, it's an amazing game. Looks amazing. Monsters designs, leave for wanting more, unfortunately. Jacob, very basic design, nothing crazy, but that's alright. Nothing surprising. And environment was amazing. So, honestly, I'll give this a 7. A 7 out of 10 for environments. So, the last thing we're going to be talking about is gameplay. Hopefully this is probably going to take up a large segment because I do have quite a bit to say gameplay wise. And the truth is, if you've played Dead Space 2, you've pretty much played the Callisto Protocol. So it's kind of boring. They don't do anything different. They don't really do anything new. Which, mind you, isn't a bad thing. Alright, I had fun. So if you're just looking to have a good time beating monsters to death with an electric baton, you'll have a jolly good time. It's just boring because I played it in Dead Space 2. They even went as far as to introduce later in the game a mutation mechanic where the monsters mutate, and to help kill them quicker you had to shoot off their limbs. So like, come on, really? But whatever, that's what they wanted to do, that's what they did. It was very uninspiring is the best way I can describe it. So about the weapons in the game, there weren't that many. I think they had like 2 shotguns, 2 pistols, and 1 assault rifle. So there's only 5 weapons in the game. You even get a little gravity thing like in Dead Space where you can pick people up and toss them. So there's that. You get a melee weapon, which is the electro baton. Mind you, I beat this game using the hand cannon, maxing out the hand cannon, and maxing out the electric baton. So I kind of min-maxed those 2 things. So I had a good time shooting people and beating people to death with those, with that gun and with that baton. Good times. I also played it on the hardest difficulty, which was actually pretty fun. Playing it on maximum security. If you have the patience for it, I would say I recommend it. Really difficult to find resources on the hardest difficulty because, the hardest difficulty. So around the end of the game, I was actually struggling a little, which was actually nerve-wracking. I had to kill some guys and just sell everything I had just to buy enough hand cannon ammo. So that was pretty awesome. There is this one section in the game where you do have to sneak past all the I don't even remember what they're called, but you had to sneak past the monsters because they were blind, which, that was different, but also pretty awesome. I don't remember ever doing that in Dead Space 2, which was, yay, something different. So let's go ahead and call it. So, short summary of gameplay. It's just boring. The monsters are very repetitive, but it is a fun time, and that's all I really like focusing on. It was fun. So, giving it a rank, I will also probably give this a 7. I give this game a 6.5 overall because it's just really boring. Not bad. Not a bad type of boring because I've played bad type of boring games. I don't even finish those. I finished this one, so it was fun enough for me to finish, but not fun enough for me to do a second playthrough of it. If I do second playthrough of it, I would have to challenge myself and do it or just go nuts, put on the easiest difficulty and just beat everyone to death with a bat. And just do something entertaining like that. This is a one and done. You play through it once on whatever difficulty you want to play it through, and unless you go back into it to find collectibles or do whatever you do, it's one and done. Alright, so for anybody that's watched this entire video, thanks for watching. For anybody that clicked, thanks for clicking. And for anyone who didn't even bother showing up, go F yourselves. Deuces!